Incoming audio transmission. Something's happening, Tenno.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest, episode 12. Today, we'll be going over Devstream number 30. Oh, wow, 30, that's a bunch of Devstreams. Then again, 12, that's a bunch of digests. But, oh well. And all of its relevant topics. We'll be going over the enemies of the Tenno Devstream. That'll cover the new upcoming enemies from the community contest, and bosses and boss plans for Warframe later this year. So let's get things started. Yes, earlier I did say Enemy of the Tenno contest, and there were 3 contest winners, one for each faction. Currently 2 of them are in work in progress states, and the third one is still being worked on. And by work in progress states, I mean they're testing out the mechanics to see if they're actually viable in-game, and they seem to be, and it just seems ridiculously interesting. The first one is the Juggernaut, a large infested tank of sorts, that can be either a mid-boss or just a special elite that'll spawn in-game and just shoot projectiles from a distance. It'll be pretty much a miniaturized version of Forward. They did say it is too large for most rooms to hold presently in-game. Another one is the Riot Moa. It's a Riot Shield Moa that will attack us from a range with heavy shield platings in front that pretty much grant it damage immunity, and it'll shoot overhead rockets just like the Jackal. And the third one is the Grineer Manic. There is no actual concept for the mechanics in-game yet, but that is still being worked on, it's still being fleshed out, and it seems very, very interesting. On the topic of upcoming enemies, the next enemy that they're planning to add relatively soon, and it's a fancy one, is a Grineer Beastmaster. Basically, a Beastmaster will be a Kubrow trainer, and he'll have a Kubrow or 2 running with him to attack the Tenno. His special ability, besides being a Master of Kubrow, is he'll have a glaive-like weapon that will be tossed at the player and steal their Tenno weapons, thus pretty much screwing you over. It'll use your modded gear against you, and it's up to you to beat them up and take it back. This is going to provide an extra level of challenge for the player, and oh boy, anything challenging just makes the game better. On the note of upcoming enemies, here are all the other in-game concepts for the attack patterns of new Infested coming down the road. It is very interesting to see these new Infested types being thrown into the mix, and I'm giddy, because these creatures will make the Infested hive mind that much creepier and that much stronger. We have an example of the Poison Droid, which will pretty much be a little taxi service for crawlers, and it will attack the players with poison miasmas, pretty much doing damage over time. Currently, it is a little overpowering because these are in the concept stages, and they have to be balanced out with the rest of the Infested in practical use. But, oh boy, crawler taxi service, that is creepy. Just look at that. That is creepy. Flying crawler. Now, imagine that as an electric crawler. Oh boy. And also another concept is a Slow Bomb Moa. This is an Infested that will deal environmental hazards in the form of these pretty much goop trails, these little mucus trails that will actually prevent the flow in combat, and if the Tenno were so unfortunate to step in it, it would really slow you down, as you can see. And yeah, that's pretty threatening, pretty menacing, and I hate to see that within a swarm. Another concept is the Nanite Moa. This Moa will shoot these little nanite swarms at the player, thus fogging the player's vision and increasing the armor value of Infested nearby. It is also a contagious status effect that means pretty much bumping into your friends, not so good, because you'll render them blind. And pretty much being in a swarm of Infested and having Infested all over around you, yeah, that gives them armor. Not good. They also followed that concept up by this Pus Ancient. And yeah, this is pretty much reminiscent of the Flood in the aspect that if you kill this carrier, pretty much you'll lay down a bunch of spawn eggs, thus increasing the numbers more. This is pretty menacing because if you don't take out the spawn eggs within a orderly fashion, you're just going to get overrun by more and more and more infested. So, thus adding another level of challenge. I'd love to see these implemented sooner rather than later. And last but not least, the Diseased Ancient. This Diseased Ancient pretty much will be an ancient that will carry these little parasites within it that will enable it to tear open its chest cavity to deploy them. These little things seem to be little ferocious buggers because they'll be scurrying around the level, really small, just like the rollers, and latch onto the player. But unlike the rollers, these things don't necessarily detonate. They pretty much latch on and deal damage over time. And not just that, they slow you down. So, yeah, more little creepy crawly things coming after the player. Oh boy. Those things are going to be so much fun to knock off your shoulders. They also showed a concept of a 2-part concept stage that is coming soon, very soon, rather than very later. It is a Devourer. This is going to be an environmental hazard given to us in the new Infested Tiles set, most likely. One area that it is guaranteed to be in, as of this recording and as of this dev stream, is in J3 Golem's new boss room. Yeah, the new J3 is coming back, and I'll get to that in a second. This Devourer will be an environmental hazard that will be laid around the levels just like arc traps that pretty much when they see you, it'll strike you. But it won't strike you with lightning, it'll actually grab you. This thing will pull you in towards its mouth, and pretty much if you don't kill it fast enough, you're in for some big trouble. This thing will actually grab you and teleport you throughout the level to different locations. It might be right next to the boss room, it'll throw you back to the beginning. You might be next to the beginning, it'll throw you in the middle of the level. This thing is gonna be very bizarre. It looks very bizarre. The jokes that were going around and the jokes that you people most likely are making right now about it. So this is gonna be another hazard for the players overall, and again, I'm interested. So about that J3 Golem. Pretty much they showed us an image of the new J3, and we all know this image from the Design Council leakabouts and whatnot, but here's an updated version. Instead of seeing this robotic, then flesh-looking octopus, they decide, let's rework it and make it a pure infestation takeover concept. Pretty much the new J3 will be a consumed portion of a ship turned into a creature. The estimated size of this creature will be pretty much, we are 1/3 the size of this thing, so another Lephantis-style boss is on the way. But most likely, hopefully, it is not as easy as Lephantis. Well, first time it wasn't that easy. It was very interesting. But, overall, new boss. New J3. Welcome back. This showed us an image of the HD textured mesh. Pretty much a proof of concept of how it'll look in-game with its model currently done in Blender? Maya? I think they said Blender. One of the two. And it is also rumored that they may be making a return into Eris. Yes, Eris, E-R-I-S. And yeah, they're coming back to the star chart. Finally, somewhere we can farm infested on the dark sectors or the derelict, because not everyone can still run the derelict. That is a big problem. On the note of the infested getting their own tile set, they also showed us, I should have said this earlier, a couple of examples of Corpus proxies turned infested. Pretty much the drones, the flying drones, and the MOAs. Pretty much these are the concept stages right now. They're not actually prepared for the in-game version. Well, actually, the Osprey, the little shield guy, is, and he's still awaiting configuration and rigging. But these are going to be the new infested Corpus proxies that will be coming in with the new infested tile set when this comes out in update 14, I believe. That's when they said. On the note of these proxies, they also showed us concepts of the droid pretty much doing its little animation. This is a placeholder skin, so these Ospreys will not be doing this little huffle shuffle. But this is pretty much what the infested ones will be doing. They also showed us a quick concept of the MOA, the bipeds, pretty much attacking, by tossing these little infested pellets at us, walking and jumping. Oh god, look at that leap. That is a ferocious leap. Goodbye, leapers. Hello, things attacking us from the sky. Here's a quick concept of how the attack pattern will look like, and it kind of is reminiscent to the slow bomb Moa. So, who's to say? Overall, these things look pretty fierce, especially when it's jumping like that. And since we talked about J3, I think we might as well cover the other bosses that they are planning to work with. The next upcoming boss concept that they are making is Tau Rager. Yes, finally, the melee Grenier that's running around with the Skana just trying to swing at us. The Flamebard boss that drops Ash. And he's going to be a very interesting boss. Here's the concept images of Tau Rager and his new design, and he is said to be the first and only boss that will actually rely on the Melee 2.0 style. He is the only melee boss that will actually take advantage of these 2.0 assets, and there'll be something like the Prosecutors, pretty much. He'll be able to swing at you, block it from you, most bullets and swings, and it's going to be very interesting. He'll also have switchable melee weapons, and he'll be able to use something from the Sword and Board, Sword and Shield combo, and what seems to be dual gauntlets. So, finally he's getting a rework, and he's going to be a strictly melee boss, but in the end we'll be able to shoot at him, blow him up, slash at him, and use our Warframe powers to our heart content. So, something new to Strike that isn't going to just stand there. Another boss that's going to be fun to strike and isn't just going to stand there is Neff, Anyo, and Durf? Well, guys, you did it. You broke the internet. Or at least you broke the... Yes, Neff and Durf. You guys have been tooting your own horns about Durf Anyo, and he's going to be in the game. Not necessarily as wacky as we considered. Durf will now accompany his father, Neff. Yes, it's actually part of the lore now, thank you. Durf will accompany his father, Neff, on Mars. They're going to redesign Neff and Durf to work conjoined, pretty much. And Durf will be able to use a Sword and Board combo, a Sword and Shield combo. And he'll have magnetic powers just like his father, and since they both drop mag, thus the magnetism. And because he's magnetic, he'll be able to use his shield as a hoverboard he can latch onto. Oh boy. This is going to be an interesting one. So we have Durf pretty much there with Sword and Shield, or Hoverboard, pretty much fighting us on the ground, and we have his father up above, it seems? Nerf will pretty much be on this hover platform, shooting at us and keeping us on our wits, pretty much on how to attack him and how to deal with him. This will be an upcoming boss after J3, so he's coming before Tau Rager. And this is very interesting. Pretty much a Warframe fan concept pretty much being thrown into the game. You guys did it. Durf is in the game. He's not the wannabe stalker we all wanted him to be, but he's in the game nonetheless.
And
there's a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about.
2014, we got a whole year.
Neff and Durf are in there.
A whole year?
Neff and Durf are in there. A whole year? Neff and Durf are in there.
Durf? Stream over.
So that pretty much does it for this Warframe digest. So remember guys, like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Tell me if I did something right, tell me if I did something wrong. And remember, have fun, take it easy, and see you guys in game. Oh boy, more infested. Just gives me the shivers.